Hello, this is Tara Alamany of AlaWeb Social Marketing and the Bite-Sized Marketer. In today's episode, I want to talk to you about a new tool that I found this week. It's called KindleSpy. And what KindleSpy allows you to do is research information about books that are selling on Amazon. And so this is great for any author who wants to be able to research information about competing titles or about potential bestseller categories to write for. In this episode, what I'm going to talk about is trying to prioritize what book you're going to write next. So let's say you're potentially considering writing a book about home-based business or about winemaking. How do you choose which topic is the better one for you to spend your time and effort on? Well, when you install KindleSpy, which is a Google Chrome app, and click on KindleSpy, it will open up Amazon for you. And you do have to access Amazon this way. You can't go to Amazon first and use KindleSpy from there. But once you're here, what you can do is you can use KindleSpy to pull relevant statistical and numerical information about books that are in specific categories or that are related to author pages. So in this instance, because I want to look at which one is going to generate more revenue for me, writing a book about a home-based business or writing a book about winemaking, I'm going to look at both categories. So let's start first with the home-based business. I'm going to dive down into where the home-based business category is, which happens to be in business and money, under marketing and sales, under sales and selling, and here is my home-based business category. And here it's going to show me all of the top 100 paid and free books that are in this category. Now if I go back and click on KindleSpy again, what it's going to do is it is going to pull all this incredible information for me about the books that are displayed currently on this page. Now because I'm looking at the top paid category, I'm seeing the first 20 results that show me the average sales rank of those 20 results, the average sales revenue for those 20 results, as well as giving me an idea of the average price and the average number of reviews. The number of reviews that you have typically affects where you rank in search results for a given category. So typically I want to look for potential titles to write about that are ranking in the top 30,000 in sales. So right now there are actually only 2 titles that are in the top 30,000 that are in this, and one has to do with KindleSpace and with CreateSpace and Kindle self-publishing, and the other to do with writing content that converts. Across all of these 20 titles, the total sales revenue is around $4,000. Now, if I thought this was a good place to invest my time and effort, and I wanted to be able to come up with an idea of what might be a great book to write for this category, I can use this word cloud to be able to look at the words that are used most commonly in the titles in these 20 titles here, and I can see the top 5 words used in these. So selling, marketing, publishing, money, more. So you could perhaps write a title called Make More Money by Publishing, Selling, and Marketing Your Knowledge, or something along that line. Marketing and selling your knowledge. So you could come up with something like that. You can also export this information, as well as being able to export the bestseller rankings so that you can put them in a comma delimited file, bring them into Excel, sort and filter things however you'd like. You also can pull results from more titles if you want to increase what you're seeing here. But basically what I want to look at in making my decision as to whether home-based business book would be better or a winemaking book, I want to kind of get an idea for the average sales revenue, which seems to be around $202 a book, and not doing very well in the average sales rank because I'd like something that's more around the top 30,000 there. So now I'm going to go take a look at winemaking. I'm going to go back to my Kindle eBooks category. Now winemaking happens to be included in cookbooks, food and wine, and in drinks and beverages. Now interestingly enough, winemaking is under spirits. And so this is where I'm going to find books, not just on winemaking though, but also on whiskey and other things like that. So let me just take a quick look here and see what I have. So I have a number of different things, some related to wine, some to moonshine, some to bootlegging, a number of different things. So not really quite exactly what I'm looking at, but I can see here that the average sales revenue for these titles is certainly more than the home-based business, which was $202. These are $8,760. But like I said, it's not exactly where I want to go. And if I want a best-selling title, I may have to actually write something about moonshine in addition, although I could just have, Your Guide to Making Wine could be a good potential title. But let's see if we can't filter this a little bit better. So in this, I'm going to put in winemaking in the Kindle store. All right. And I'm going to try this again because now I'm really focused on the title, or the category that I was interested in. And it's going to pull that information. And I'm going to see that, wow, where I had wanted to write about winemaking, the home-based business book would be better than my winemaking book. But I could see that there was a lot about distilling and other kinds of spirits. So maybe if I was willing to tweak what I wanted to write about, I could. Whoops! I'm gonna make this one word just to see if there's a difference. Yeah, this sometimes happens when it's having a hard time resolving the URL. But let's just take a look at with it as one word and see if it makes a difference. Now, see, that one word, making it as one word instead of two words makes a huge difference, because now I'm looking at something that is 7,578 for my average sales revenue, and these all seem to be postmodern winemaking, from vine to wines, home winemaking, the complete guide to making your own wine at home. All awesome titles with a total sales revenue of 151,000. So that's great. So let's look at the word titles here, or the word cloud. Winemaking guide, wines. So not a lot to work with there in terms of coming up with a title, but you could have something like Your Guide to Winemaking, or Your Guide to Making Your Own Wine. Whatever it is that you choose to do there, you can't really miss very much using that combination. So this little tweak of knowing whether to use one word or two words will make a huge difference in the revenue or the projected sales of my book. Now, the average sales ranking is still not what I'd like to see, because I'd like it in the top 30,000, and really there are only two titles that are in the top 30,000. So you kind of want to take a look at them and see this actually has nothing to do with winemaking. It is a fiction book. And this one here, The Billionaire's Vinegar, The Mystery of the World Most Expensive. So you do want to kind of take a look at that and see. And this is an interesting thing too, because you can look at the pricing and the estimated sales. And oftentimes we struggle with, putting together a price and what's reasonable and what makes sense. But what I see often is the books that have the greatest sales revenue often have the most reasonable prices. So we think, oh, our book really should be, $9.99. But looking at this, they've made an estimated sales revenue of about $40 selling four books. But this book that's, $2 has made almost 150,000. So you can use this to do everything from researching which titles to invest your time in next, to pulling together a killer title so that you have something that is already positioned to be a best-selling topic, and look at the pricing that's being used for the best-selling books to determine how to set your pricing in a similar manner so that you can maximize the sales revenue that you're going to get. So I hope you find this interesting. There's a lot more that you can do with KindleSpy, but this is getting to be a long video so far. But think about things like you can use this to look up other books by a similar by an author. So if I go to Steve Hughes, maybe if he has an author page. No, it doesn't look like he does. But if you go to, say, an author page, you can actually look up. Let's see if one of these guys has one. All right, so this one has a few different, still doesn't have an author page, but when I go to an author and look up, I can look up the different books that author wrote as well. So if you have an author that maybe you write similarly to, Let's just take a look at James Patterson. And if we keep it all in the Kindle editions, because KindleSpy only works with Kindle books, hopefully it'll work here. No, I have to actually be on an author page. There we go. So I'm on James Patterson's author page. Now I should be able to use KindleSpy to pull up all of James Patterson's books with the estimated sales revenue for each of these books. This is getting away from looking at the home-based business versus the winemaking, but you can see the power in this in being able to look at somebody who is a competitor of yours and seeing what works. And then if you find a particular one like Invisible, which has a sales revenue that I'd love to mirror, then you can go and you can kind of analyze, all right, what has his publicity firm or his marketing firm done to promote that particular book? And you can do that by doing a Google search, seeing how it comes up, seeing what sites it's listed on, and how it's being managed and marketed, so that then you can define a marketing plan of your own for your own title that uses similar tactics and strategies. So I hope you have found this to be interesting. I highly recommend that you buy a copy of KindleSpy. I have a link that's at the top of the page there. When you do, it's $27. It's inexpensive, but I tell you, I had to help a client choose a title for their book recently. And one of the things that I did was I manually went and found competing titles. I found competing book designs, and went and ended up pulling together 10 title suggestions myself, and then putting out a survey to my followers. And I spent about 10 hours trying to come up with a potential title for this client's book, when in fact, if I had had KindleSpy at the time, it would have taken me all of 10 minutes to be able to come up with a couple of title ideas and a good understanding of revenue projection. So it would have saved me and my client a ton of time and money to be able to use it. So for the $27, I highly recommend go ahead and get your copy today, and I hope you find it as useful as I do. Once again, this has been Tara Alamany of AlaWeb Social Marketing and the Bite-Sized Marketer. Stay tuned for next time's episode. Bye.